Very cool. Hey there. This is What Does This Button Do? Episode number 230. How about that, Chris? What do you think?
230. That's a bit.
It's an educational show about smartphones and technology with us geeks on tour. What does this button do? If you're here from YouTube, please go ahead and click on the subscribe and click the bell to be notified when we go live. It's always a good thing, right? And if you're on Facebook, hit the like. We always start out with a quick tip, or Chris does anyway. Go ahead, Chris.
Just want to jump right into it. Our topic today is smartphone photography. And our favorite tip
Clean the lens.
So really? Just look at that image on the screen there. Before cleaning on the left, after cleaning on the right. The only difference between the first one. So I want to do that. We're going to take a selfie here.
Okay.
With whatever this phone is.
What is that?
What is this phone doing? Uh-oh, I have the wrong phone. I'm going to have to go up and grab it. But
how many phones do you have?
I have you know the answer to that. I dug out a few. All right, many. I am going to take a selfie.
All right.
With this one. And then I'm going to clean the lens.
Yeah.
So the selfie lens is just right on the screen. That's something that people don't realize. And it gets fingerprints on it. So you're going to see the results of the before and after here. And so there's, all right. So then if I look at those photos, I need to get focused. Okay, that one is after I cleaned the lens. That one is before. Clean the lens.
How many times does she have to tell you?
I mean, your phone's in your pocket most of the time, right? Or in your purse or whatever. At the very least, just look at the lens before you snap a picture to make sure it's not. And at best, take a microfiber cloth or a t-shirt is fine and clean the lens. Now, there's one more slide here, though.
Oh, there is?
Yeah. Okay. So, and the issue is what lens?
Oh, right.
So when you're taking a normal photo, you're using the lens on the rear of the phone. So that's the one you need to clean. But the issue, I think, is mostly in the selfies, because the selfie lens, people don't know where it is. Here is how you tell. Here's how you can find your selfie lens. I'm are you seeing that? Yeah. Okay. So there's my phone. I'm in selfie mode. And if I just rub it's on the top here somewhere. If I rub my finger, that's where the lens is right there. And if you look really closely, you see a little dot. So that's what lens.
Okay.
Oh, red curtains today.
Oh, huh? Yeah. I thought I'd open the curtain into our studio.
Oh, okay.
Just because I like to play stuff. That's
looks pretty down on the Fort Lauderdale beach today, huh?
Yeah, not too bad. I should be out diving, but you won't let me.
Not today.
Too bad. Okay, let's get through some of this real quick. And My favorite Sunday show is about to start. It just did start. Looking forward. Hi, Ron. Traded his Galaxy for an S22. And have you experienced that yet?
Mine is an S21. You'll be seeing that. And I don't think there's a whole lot of difference. The S22, they reduced the price a little bit.
Oh, okay. Bob says, smart anything is great. Smart photography's over the top. Mesa, Diana, Sugarland, Texas.
Hello, everybody. Good to have you here.
And welcome. Low Country, you betcha, instead of the Owl
South
Country.
Carolina.
Bill, Liz, cool. That's all of us. All right. I probably missed a few, but we got to get on with this, right? Okay. So, I'm Jim, and along with my wife, Chris, we are Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And you have questions about your iPhone or your Android phone or your tablets, and how do you learn about these amazing devices? Well,
we are Geeks, also known as Propeller Head. We have been into technology for over 40 years now. And we are geeks who teach, however. So we think that the best way to learn is in bite-sized pieces on a regular basis. So we came up with this show, and we pick a topic and we go into a little bit of depth. All of our topics are collected on our website at geeksontour.com. Check it out.
Check it out. All right. Whoops, wrong button. What does this button do? Chris, where are we now?
We're home, but we did just have a little outing in our little road trek motorhome. We went over to Riverside RV Park on the west coast of Florida.
Fun. That was a lot of fun.
And we actually taught people in person.
That's a little scary, though.
Doesn't happen too often these days.
No. And we've been to this place now 8 times, I guess, over the years.
7 or 8, yeah.
And it was interesting. It was good.
And notice that the photo on the bottom there is from our hands-on smartphone photography class. And it is also an example of using the panorama mode. You can use panorama indoors as well as outside.
Okay. Hi to our live viewers. And we want to say a special thank you to our members. Our members are our premium members, make our work possible. It is geeksontour.com. Join now if you want to be a member and get all of the benefits. One of those benefits is their backstage pass. It's for members only. And we do an online Zoom meeting right after this show. You get the link from the email that Chris sent out earlier, or go to the website geeksontour.com and member login. Smartphone photography.
This is our topic for today. And don't worry, we are not professional photographers. We're not going to talk about all the pro settings and shooting in RAW. No. We're going to talk about the practical tips that have to do specifically with smartphones. Thus, what does this button do? Now, if you do want to learn a lot, if you're really into photography and you want to learn a lot more, here's a couple of places you might want to visit. There's a website called digitalphotographyschool.com, and they have been going for years and years, all about being a better photographer. Then there's another one that is iPhonePhotographySchool.com. And he also is all about taking good photos, but he only uses an iPhone. Now, the principles that you learn on either of those will apply to whatever phone you have. But those are 2 that I've used fairly regularly. They have a lot of information for free, and they have a lot that you have to pay for. Kind of like we do it. So first thing, everybody's phone is different. So you better know exactly the make and model of your phone. Things that we tell you might not be in the same place on your phone. And I want to show you how you would find that out. So on an iPhone, you go to your settings. I'll use this one. You just go to your settings, and then it's under General and About. And there is your model, iPhone SE. The model number, if you want to Google for that, you'll see even more details about your specific phone. But just knowing that it's an iPhone SE is good enough. And then on my Android, you go into Settings, and I get there by swiping down from the top and tapping the gear. And then About is all the way at the bottom, About Phone. And it tells me this is a Galaxy S21 Ultra 5G. So you need to know that about your phone. Whatever device you're taking pictures with, know exactly what that device is.
Cool.
Then, once you do know that, use the web and just search. So, for example, if you have which I do, an LG Rebel, and you say, well, I can't find the panorama mode anywhere. You might want to Google for, does the LG Rebel have panorama mode? It does not. Or other things, you can search for YouTube. We're not the only ones teaching on YouTube, right? You can find anything. You can go to YouTube and search for how to use the telephoto lenses in the Samsung S21 Ultra. I mean, I watched a lot of those videos in preparation for today to see if there was anything I was missing. And then the images on this slide showing that, so I do have the S21 Ultra Samsung. That's my Android phone. My iPhone is the SE. It's the least expensive. And then Jim's phone, which we might pull up for a couple of things.
I don't normally let her touch my phone.
He hates it when I touch his phone. But there might be a couple of things I have to show you.
Mine is a Pixel 4 XL.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next.
Learn your device.
So that is just the general, what you want to learn, how you have to go about it. Now we just have 10 tips about how we take photos and come up with what we think are the best possible photos.
And the first one we just did in a quick tip, that was clean the lens.
And then I was going to read through them, but that's okay. So number 2 is flash off. Find your flash settings and just keep it off. They figured they needed to have a flash from the very beginning, but this flash is worthless. The flash is absolutely worthless, and the cameras now know how to adjust for low light. So if you have the flash on, then the camera can't do its magic with the low light.
You'll just be lighting up the back of the head of the person in front of you. You're not going to light up the stage with that little tiny flash. So keep it off.
Yeah, we were at a concert a week or two ago, and I took pictures of the stage. It came out great, but I did not have my flash on. I let it zoom in and set the lighting accordingly.
But we were in the front row of the balcony, so there wasn't anybody right in front of us.
That's true.
It wasn't too bad. Tip number 3.
Tip number 3, hold the phone like a camera. Now, what do I mean by that? If you're using, let's do this one. No, that's green. There. If you're using your phone as a phone, you hold it this way, right? But if you're using your phone as a camera, hold it like a camera. The main reason for that is, unless you only look at pictures on your phone, you want them to be wide so that they show up right when you're looking at them on a computer or a TV. show the next. There's I have a couple of examples of this.
Okay.
So this seems like an appropriate photo to have in vertical. You know, it's a waterfall, so it's vertical. But if you're looking at that on a widescreen TV, this looks a lot better. So I say, unless you have a really good reason to go vertical, take your pictures horizontal. And if you're holding your phone like a camera, then your finger is right at the volume buttons. And did you know that you can snap the shutter by pressing a volume button, either up or down? And that is our next. Now, why don't I just say hold the phone horizontally? Well, there are some reasons to hold it vertical, just like when you had a real camera. Every once in a while, you would hold it vertical, but generally it's horizontal. You will love yourself when you show those photos on your big screen TV. They will look so much better. All right, then, yes, you can try this at home if you want. Go into your camera and hold it this way, and the volume buttons will either be under your left thumb or under your right fingers, and it doesn't matter. And press one of those and it snaps a picture. What are other ways to snap a picture?
I like the earbud volume buttons. If you have a wired earbuds,
yeah, I
those,
meant to grab one.
right, you can actually use the volume for the earbuds as a shutter release. That's a pretty cool thing. There's a timer on almost everybody's phone camera. You can use that, and those are great for selfies.
I do want to show you that.
You do?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. And because on one phone, you might see the timer right there. That is the timer. I have the option for it to be off, 3 seconds or 10 seconds. This is great for selfies, or if you have a tripod, you could set your phone up, set it for 10 seconds, and then you can run around and get in the picture. But if you want to do a selfie, how it works is you set the timer. I'm going to set it for 10 seconds. Then you tap the shutter button, and now you have 10 seconds to position yourself and smile, and it counts down and takes the picture. So, so timer. But on other phones, I just want to show you on my little iPhone.
Yeah.
I do not see a timer. You know, it's not one of the buttons. But look at this. There's a hidden menu on smaller iPhones, or maybe even bigger ones, just not that one. I tap that arrow and it reveals another row of options down here, one of which is the timer. Okay. And it looks the same on the Android. Yeah. Hope you don't mind, those of you who have just one phone or the other. I'm going to be going back and forth a lot.
Okay. Some phones have voice activation shutter release, and you can just talk to them and say something like smile, and it'll take a picture.
He just said the magic word, and this phone, my Samsung, took a picture.
And there are settings in there that you can configure so the different words will trigger the shutter. And it also works for video on a lot of these phones. So that's crazy.
So you may see advertisements for these little Bluetooth shutter buttons.
And they're fun.
And that's fine, but you really don't need them. And then here's one special way. Play the 560. Hi. My tip today is about taking selfies. And if you watch the show a lot, you might have seen us demonstrate the voice control on Samsung phones and on some other Androids. So that, you know, the idea is if you're stretched way out here to take a selfie, you don't want to have to stretch your other arm, and maybe it's not even long enough.
You need longer fingers.
So it's really nice to be able to say, shoot, or smile, and that's what Samsungs allow you to do, but not too many other phones do. However, I found a trick, and I'm going to show you even on an iPhone. Now, on an iPhone, you can say, hey, Siri, take a selfie, and she gets the camera ready, but she doesn't snap the shutter. So here is my tip, and that is to use the Google Assistant. So this is on an iPhone, but any phone that you can install the Google Assistant, and that's that one with the colored bubbles. So you have to launch the Google Assistant, and then you can say, okay, Google, take a selfie. So yeah, it took a selfie. It starts a timer, and you better be ready.
Yeah, it's only a 3-second timer.
So you would normally do this when you're holding it out, but I want you to see it. Okay, Google.
Wonder why.
Take a selfie. And
how many people's phones
it
just
starts a
kicked off
timer, and then
Sorry, I don't have
it
any
takes
information
a
about that,
selfie.
but I found something
And that
similar.
is just,
You want to know
it's
how
just
many
in your
people use their
camera
cell phone?
roll, so I can go to my Google Photos, and there is the selfie that it just
To help with that, I
Way
need to
cool.
know who
I
I'm talking
think
to.
that is way cool.
If you want to teach me your
Hey,
voice,
hey,
just
Google,
say,
stop.
set up voice match.
How many
You just can't say-
devices have we triggered all over the place?
There's certain words that you cannot say in the course of normal life these days.
Okay. Yeah, look at all these people. Great. Back from Antarctica. It's oh yeah.
Antarctica, welcome home.
Yeah. Sun City, Hilton Head.
S22 Ultra.
Yeah, honey got her S22. I don't know. I'm looking or waiting for that folding Pixel phone. I'm still a Pixel kind of guy. Okay, Linda says she's thinking about it. Her S21 is good. What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know. Maybe we can get together. Yeah, any S21 or S22 users that want to get together on a Zoom call, that might be fun. And I'd be up for that.
Right. And if you're premium members, you can join us after the show and we can talk that kind of stuff. That's great. And a special thank you to Michael. Thanks so much. He appreciates the tips and we appreciate you. Thanks, man. All right.
And I see that Judy has a question.
Judy has a question. Is there a setting to activate the volume as a shutter? The 6A didn't work.
Yes, absolutely. And I think isn't settings next?
Is it?
Is settings next?
Well,
no, settings isn't next, but we are getting there. There is a setting. It might be set for your volume to zoom in and zoom out rather than to take a picture, or it might be set for your volume button to take a, what's that? Lots of photos all at once. Burst shot.
Bill says he's tried the voice control for video. It started the recording, yet he had to manually stop it. Is the way to stop it?
On voice control. I thought there was. I thought you could say
stop video.
Yeah, you might have to say the exact right words. You know, I'm gonna have to Google for that one. I'm not sure. Pixel 6, cool.
All right.
Okay.
So something you said triggered my SE to turn on. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about that. But realize that you can do it too. You can say those magic words and just hold your phone up and it will snap your picture.
Okay. And the Apple Watch has something else. Do you want to play that one?
No.
Okay.
Not enough people. But you can snap the shutter from your Apple Watch if you also have an iPhone. So sit your iPhone over there, tell your watch to take a picture, and you actually see what your phone is seeing in your watch. It's cool. All right.
So Gary says he'd enjoy an S22, thinking of buying it. Go to the dark
Go to
side.
the dark side.
Well, we have to have both. So it's Chris's turn to have the Apple, the iPhone, but we have switched back and forth. That's
They're all good.
Yeah.
You know, they really are. They're all good. If you want something that just works, iPhone.
Especially if you're in the Mac world or the Apple world. Yeah.
If you want something that has a lot more control, a lot more customizability, then that's the Android side.
Okay.
All right. Number 5. Remember, we're giving you 10 tips.
Know how to edit your photos. I think this is so important.
I think this might be the most important because
after clean the lens.
Well, yeah, clean the lens. If you have a dirty lens, your photo is absolutely unusable. But if you just take a poor photo, it is amazing what you can do with it if you know how to edit. So the picture of the mountain there, it's crooked, it's hazy, and the mountain is too far away. Perfectly easy to crop, straighten, brighten, and more. If you have an iPhone, the Apple Photos, that icon there, came with your phone. It is how you manage all your photos, and it can do all the basic editing and some kind of fancy stuff. If you have a Samsung, you have Gallery, and it can do all the basic editing. We, of course, use Google Photos on both the iPhone and the Android, and here's just a little video on what we're talking about for editing.
So we've been taking lots of photos. We are in the RV on the road, and I like to just snap a picture out the window. On the left is what my camera captured, but on the right is the picture I wanted, and it just takes a couple of clicks in Google Photos to make that difference. Let me show you how. Here is the photo, and I'm just using Google Photos on the computer, but it works exactly the same on the phone. You have the same options. This is the edit button. I click that. And the first thing I want to do is crop. I don't want that nasty wall in the foreground. So the cropping tool is that one. And I'll just drag a corner up until I have the picture outlined that I want. And maybe it's a little crooked. There's no straight lines in this picture to check it against, but I think that makes the horizon a little straighter. So I'm done with the crop and rotate. Now I want to adjust the colors a little bit. I always try auto, and that does the colors pretty good, but I also want a little bit of pop. So I'm going to go into the adjustments. I'm going to drag the pop over, and I'm done. There is the picture I wanted, as opposed to the picture I took.
All right. So editing is super simple. Just open it right on your phone, and probably just tapping an auto will help a lot. But if you want to really get into editing, we recommend Snapseed. And we did a whole episode on it. Episode 228 of our button show was all about Snapseed, and I just love it. I want to do one little demo with it. And this is on my iPad, but it works the same on Android or iPhone. And it's this green leaf. It is a 100% free app from Google. And I will just open up a photo. So this is a photo in Yellowstone of the Yellowstone Falls. Absolutely gorgeous spot. Absolutely horrible picture. But I want it. So I'm going to tap on the tools and the tune image.
That's not showing up real well.
Well, it'll get better. That's it's a dark photo. What? Oh, the menus?
Yes.
Okay. I see. That's because I went too much that way. Okay.
Tough one.
Yeah. Well, there we go. We're almost. Okay. So this photo absolutely needs to be brighter. There's all sorts of options here in Snapseed. And to make it brighter, I just rub my finger to the right. Now I want something called ambiance. And I rub my finger to the right. And notice that gets brighter yet, but it doesn't, it affects the shadows more than the sky. Then I want some saturation. Rub my finger to the right. Notice how you now see a little bit of green and blue. Now I want some blue up in the sky. I'll say I'm done with that first tuning. Now I want to go to brush. I'm not going to explain all this. Just for you that want to do fancier editing, I want you to see that it can be done. And under temperature, I'll go down to a -10, which means colder, bluer, and I'll just rub the sky. See how it's getting some blue in there by rubbing the sky? But that's not making the whole picture blue. All right. And lastly, I'm going to put some detail, make it a little bit sharper. See how if I rub to the left, it gets more foggy. If I rub to the right, it gets a lot sharper. And that's, I'm done. To see my original, you just long press on it. That was my original photo. That is the one I made now after just a few seconds of editing. That is Snapseed. Love it. Okay. So that was tip 5, I think. Yeah. Now, this is just to set the stage for the next tip. There's lots of guidelines for how to compose the best photo. One of the very standard ones is called the rule of thirds, which means if you imagine your photo with 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal, you want your main subject at one of the intersections. Generally speaking, it's just saying a photo in the dead center of a picture is a dull picture. It's more interesting if it's off to a third of the photo. One extra little thing, just looking at this picture, notice how the bird is looking towards the right. You would not want to put him in the third where he's got his nose to the wall. You know, that, so if you have an animal looking, they should be looking into the 2/3 of the picture and not the one. All right. Wouldn't it be nice maybe if we had those grid lines on our camera to go by? Yes, you can. And it is called grid. So you go into settings, and I'm going to show you this. Grid, Smart HDR, and location. There's lots more settings, but I'm just going to show you those 3. So on the iPhone, you open up your system settings and then find camera. And it's way down here, camera. And there is the grid. You want that on. That just puts guidelines on your screen when you're in the camera mode. You want that on. And the other thing was Smart HDR. You want that on. HDR stands for high dynamic range. It's talking about photos need different exposure for different range of light in the picture. And it can do that very smartly. So you want that on. The third thing I want to show you is how to make sure your photos are stamped with the location where they were taken. And that's not in the camera settings. On the iPhone, that is in privacy. And realize you can rewatch this video later, and members will have the show notes. So privacy and location services. Location services must be on, but that's not all. Tap on location services. Oh, no, scroll down. Sorry, they've changed that. And now you see camera, and you want it to be on. While using the app, the camera app, You want the location to be stamped on the photos. Lots more settings. I recommend that you review them. Let's look at the Android, the Samsung, and do those same ones. So the difference in the Samsung, you don't go to the system settings, then camera. You just go to the camera, and then you choose the settings from there. So now I am in camera settings, and there's a lot of them. Auto HDR, I think, should be on. That means it will give you better exposures. Grid lines, there's the grid, and then location tags. They're all right here on the Samsung. Now, you asked about the shooting methods. So the ability to use your volume control. Press volume keys 2. Mine is set to take picture or record video. The other options are to zoom in and out, or just to still do volume, not have any control over the camera. I like take a picture. Voice commands. You know, if yours is, if you want to be able to say one of these words and have it take a picture, put that on. All right, I think that's it. Unless there is a...
On that one.
What if, well, yeah. Looks like there's a couple.
We'll get there.
Okay. All right, I'm ready for number 7.
Take Panoramas. And we have a couple of videos.
Yeah,
for
go ahead and
these.
play the videos for the
Okay.
panoramas.
Let's see, which one do we do first?
This is a quick tip about taking a panorama photo using an Android phone. This is a Samsung Galaxy S5. You need panorama when the scene you want to capture is just too wide for a normal photo. This won't fit in one photo. It's not wide angle enough. In the Samsung, panorama is under mode. So tap mode, then panorama. Now you want to turn the phone vertical to give the photo as much height as possible, and you tap the shutter button to start the capture. Now watch the picture as it builds through that middle section. And when you have the entire scene captured, then you tap the shutter button again. It will have a square on it now. That's the indication that tapping it will stop. Now I press the home button to go back out to the main home screen. We can use Google Photos to take a look at the picture. And there it is, a beautiful panorama shot of the whole scene. This is a quick tip on taking a panorama shot with an iPhone. The point is when the camera is not wide angle enough to get the whole shot in. You're going to miss a lot if you just take a picture. So drag the settings until it says pano. That means panorama. You're going to hold the phone vertical to get as much height as possible. Then you tap the little shutter button and follow the arrow across, panning across your whole photo. When you have it all, tap the shutter button again. It'll be a square. And now you can view the picture. I'm doing it using Google Photos, and you see a beautiful panorama shot of the whole scene.
So cool. Remember with regular old cameras, you had to take picture, 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 picture. Then you had to bring them all into your computer and stitch them together. It all happens.
Stitching programs.
It all happens automatically in the phones.
Yeah. Panoramas are great for group shots. You don't have to get everybody together now. You can just take a panorama when they're all in one place, hopefully, and maybe looking at you, but you don't have to, all right, you know, tall people in the front, short people kneel in the back, that kind of thing. It's it's just something that you can do there. So, yeah, I think I took this one.
You must have, because I'm in it.
Okay, so where are we now?
All right, so panoramas, you know, they're good for indoors as well. you know, a small place, it's hard to get the whole room in panoramas.
Vertical panoramas, like for
Right.
waterfalls?
You can take vertical panoramas. Now, you know, I'm generally against vertical pictures at all, so I don't. But this was one case. Now, to take a panorama of a waterfall, you would hold your phone horizontally because you want as much width as possible, and you would pan from bottom to top or top to bottom.
All right. Number 8, pick your lens for zoom or wide angle.
Okay, that image there is from my Samsung S21 Ultra because it has, can you see that?
Multiple.
It has, well, here, I'll put it on. It has 4 lenses. That is just amazing. So I think that's the wide angle, that's the normal, that's the telephoto, and that's the super wide angle.
What's that other
or
thing?
something like that. That's the flash, and that's just the sensor, the
Infrared.
yeah, that knows how far you are away from things and stuff like that. All right. So when I'm in the camera, how do I need to there. How do I choose which lens I'm using? You tap this, and the 0.6, that's a super wide angle, and it's, oh God, it's great. It's really great. 1x means your normal lens. 3x means 3 times telephoto. And then 10x, you know, you can read the badge on somebody that's a block away with that one. And then you can still zoom by pinch and zoom with your fingers. It's just that this is the quick way to just choose the different lens and jump to that magnification. Now, what if you don't see those 4 there? Well, it might be because you've chosen an option up here. This phone has the ability to take 108 megapixel photo.
That's crazy.
I don't need that. But if I should tap on 108 megapixel up there, now I only have, oops, I took the picture. Now I only have 1x available because it's saying, well, the 108 megapixel is only for the 1x lens. At least that's the way I understand it. So there's combinations of options you need to play with too. But back to the slide, take a look at what those 4 pictures, I was standing in the same place. The wide angle got from the very left side of that little white gazebo and all the way over past the trees to the bigger tree. Notice there's a sign. I have a little red line going down the sign. Normal got from half of the gazebo to half of the tree. 3x, I could now see that sign. 10x, I could almost read that sign. And when I then zoomed in with my fingers, I could read that sign. You can go to 100x in the digital zoom. Using portrait, it's just another mode. You just tap on portrait, and now when you take a picture of somebody's face, the background gets blurred, and it looks very professional, very dramatic. And if you have an iPhone, the portrait lighting gives you even more drama.
I'm going to go into portrait and just show how you change the lighting by swiping your finger down here at the bottom. Next, I'll actually take a picture so you can see how it works.
So on the newer iPhones, in the camera, you have some options in the portrait. I'm going to turn it into selfie mode. And when I choose portrait, I now have some special lighting options. I just rub my finger over and it shows studio light or contour light, or this is the coolest one, stage light. Actually blacks out everything behind you. Let's see if I can get a little bit better. There we go.
So that's stage light, blacking out everything, or black and white, or what it calls contour light. It blurs the background some. So I'm going to snap a photo in that stage light.
Yeah.
So you could set up your own photo studio and
go crazy.
Charge your friends for making their glamour shots.
Use portrait for close-ups. It blurs the background and it looks a lot more dramatic. Now, they don't all call it the same thing, right?
Right. It may be called lens blur, or my last Samsung called it live focus. But my point here is it's not just for people. It's not just for portraits. It can flowers. I love taking pictures of flowers with the portrait mode. Tip number 10.
Live motion. Okay.
Now, iPhone calls this live photos. Android or Samsung calls it motion photos. Jim's Pixel calls it top shot. What it means, and we did a whole episode on it, so live photos are cool. It was worth a whole episode. If you have a chance to go back and watch episode 223 of this show.
Now, there is a question. How do you turn it off?
Yeah. Okay. So let me show you on iPhone. On iPhone, the live photo is that bullseye button right there. It might be in the middle on yours. I tap it, it says live off. I tap it again and it says live. So that's it. It's just a toggle. One, it's either off or it's on, or you can even go into the settings here and you can have it on auto. I don't think there's any difference actually between on and auto. Then on the Samsung, it's this little play button, but it has to have a normal lens. Okay. It's this play button here, not available in low light. Okay. I have to lift up the phone so it thinks it's taking a picture.
Down.
There. Motion photo on, motion photo off. So it's just a toggle. Or if you have an older Samsung, it might be in your settings. Go into your settings and find motion photo. So to understand a little bit about what it does, we have another pre-recorded piece.
Hi, this is Chris Guld with Geeks on Tour, and this tutorial video is about using Google Photos to capture the best frame from a motion photo. First, let me explain what I mean by a motion photo. On iPhones, it's in the camera and it's called live. It's that gold bullseye up there. When it's lined through, it's off. When it's there, it's on. And it means when you just take a photo, it captures 3 seconds of video also. On a Samsung phone, an Android Samsung, it's in the camera and it's under settings and it is called motion photos. If it's off, you're just taking a single frame, but if it's on, you are taking a couple seconds of video along with a single shot frame. So in Photos, first I want to bring up a motion photo and show you what I mean. So see this photo? In Google Photos, you can be viewing the motion in the photo, or you can be viewing just the still shot. So this is our friend Tom singing and playing guitar, and the still shot that it captures looks pretty dull. But if I play it, I love the spot where he leans back and opens his mouth, and that's the one that I want for the still shot. So here's what you do. You either tap the 3-dot menu or you just swipe up on the photo and you will see the shots in this photo. Just tap on that little film strip and now you can drag the marker over until the shot you want is the one that's highlighted. I love that. Then save copy. Now I have just a single shot of the scene that I want. One more example. This one I took very specifically, asking Jim to blink a lot, and you can see then that the single shot that it captured has his eyes closed. But I can just swipe up, tap on the little film strip, drag over until I get a spot where his eyes are open. There. And that is how you make a single frame picture out of a motion photo or live photo using Google Photos.
Right on. So the reasons that you'd use live or motion photos.
Well, like that little video showed, picking the best frame. I use it all the time with people so that I can get the ones where everybody has the best smile or their eyes are open the most.
I like the lightning photo.
That is just amazing. I do not know how it does it, but the little video is before you snap the shutter button. So if you've ever tried to get a picture of lightning, no way. By the time you see the lightning and press the button, the lightning's gone. Not with motion photos, because it gets, depending on which device, 1.5 to 3 seconds before you snap the button. So you see the lightning, you snap, you've caught it.
Okay, I see a few questions in there. We should go to those.
Okay.
And let's see. Richard says, will it work on photos that are emotion photos? I think that had to do with Snapseed or editing.
I think that was talking about editing. Yes. If you edit a photo that was a motion photo, you'll get a message saying it'll just be converted to the still then. Because no, it can't edit the video part of it. It edits just the photo part of it.
And Robert uses ViPix Restore. What do you think of it? I don't know anything about it. Do you know it?
No, haven't heard of that.
Okay. We'll take a look and see.
Tell me more.
Yeah. Okay. Sheila thinks that Snapseed is pretty amazing. Yeah, a lot of people think it's a lot like Photoshop. It only works on mobile devices, though. So phones and tablets. But one thing that I like is with the Chromebook, because Chromebooks will run those Android things. Nice big screen. You can really get into
you can run Snapseed on a Chromebook.
Right.
That's really nice.
And what about metadata when you're editing?
And I think maybe that was when I was going into the settings and turning on the location. I mean, the location, the GPS becomes part of the metadata of the photo. And you don't lose that when you edit. You don't lose metadata.
Okay, panoramas are fun when someone walks by and ends up in the panorama twice. He must have been at one of our seminars because we do this on a regular basis. She'll take a picture of our audience. She'll start at one side and I'll be over there. And then I'll run behind her and get in this.
Yeah, Jim is always in the picture twice when we do a panorama.
It's too much fun. So, and do you have the grid always on? Does it limit you what pictures you can do? The grid doesn't show up in the photos. It's just there as a...
Yeah, it's just literally kind of lines showing up on your lens so that you can keep your horizon straight and you can compose your picture nicely.
Okay, please show the setting to have selfies not reverse the image.
Yeah, now you're on Android, right, Tootie? I think. Because the language is very confusing. When you take a selfie, if you actually look at your phone when you're taking a selfie, these words would be backwards. So your phone needs to switch the selfie in order to be able to read the text. And that, I'm on my Samsung here, and I go into settings, and it's, the language, save selfies as previewed. So that, if you turn that on, you would not be able to read the text. Leave that off. You don't want the picture. if you want to read the text. Now, if you want the left and the right to be the same, then you need it on. But I leave it off so I can read the text.
How to get, that, how he got his name to light up in orange?
Yeah.
Don't have any idea what he's talking about. And Robert says, thank you. Cool. All right. I think that's it for those questions. I think we have a few more slides. Yeah, let's get through
I
these.
don't think so. Yeah, that was 10.
Yep.
Let's just review the 10. Number 1 was clean the lens. Number 2 was flash off. Number 3 was hold the phone like a camera. Number 4 was find other ways to snap the shutter button so that you can keep your phone very steady. You know, if you have to figure out how to hold on to it with one hand and then lift the other hand and tap the screen, you're bound to make it jiggle a little bit, and that's bad. Number 5 is know how to edit. Number 6 was review all your settings. Number 7 was so 7, 8, 9, and 10 are all the kind of fancy things. 7 was use panorama. 8 was pick your lens. Most the high-end phones these days have more than one lens, so know how to pick one or the other. Number 9 was use the portrait mode for people and flowers. And number 10 was use the motion photos, because there's all sorts of cool things you can do with a motion photo.
Okay. Let's see. When you see a picture submitted to the TV station, why are there shaded bars of the picture on each side? Is that because they took the picture vertically?
Yeah, very likely. I mean, if the picture is vertical and there are the shaded bars on each side, but even if it's not, I mean, on my iPhone, for example, it takes pictures in a 4:3 ratio, but the screen is a 9:16 ratio. And I said that wrong, but
16:9.
16:9. But so that means the picture has these black bars. I do have another video that says use crop so that doesn't happen to you. You can crop the picture to be the same ratio of your screen so that it fills the screen.
Okay, very cool. Well, did you learn something? We have questions for you, but Chris will probably answer them for you. Before taking a photo, always do what? Number 1.
Clean the lens.
Lenses, yeah. And how do you find those lenses? When taking pictures, hold your phone
like a camera, meaning normally it's horizontal unless you have a good reason to hold it vertical.
Okay. If you can't get everyone in with one shot, what do?
Use the panorama mode.
And you can't see the location of the photo, what went wrong?
You probably didn't have the setting for location tags on. That must be on before you take a photo in order to capture that information.
And the HDR camera setting should be A, on, B, off.
A, on.
Sometimes there's an auto there.
And yeah, and auto and on are pretty much the same.
HDR
just means it properly exposes both the shadows and the light.
True or false? If you take live motion photo, it captures a moment before you snap the shutter button.
Don't ask me how.
It's magic.
But that's what it does.
If you're taking a close-up photo of a person or a flower, this mode will make the photo more dramatic. Is that pano, slow-mo, portrait, or flower?
C, portrait.
And the best completely free app for editing photos on mobile devices is Gallery, Google Photos, Snapseed, or Apple Photos?
Snapseed.
Excellent. So that's questions for you, reminding our premium members a benefit of the Backstage Pass. Premium members only get the meeting. It's a Zoom meeting right after this show. Chris sent out an email earlier, or you can go to our website, geeksontour.com, and the member login, and you'll find the log there. Place to find it after we get this going. So please sign up for our free newsletters. All video content is property of Geeks on Tour. Newsletters are there. Members get all the books and become a member. Subscribe to this channel. Like us on Facebook. Do all of those things. Chris, what's the webpage that lists all of our YouTube shows?
geeksontour.com, and the menu item is YouTube show.
And the webpage that has all our recent newsletters.
geeksontour.com, the menu item is blogs and news. You'll find an archive of all our newsletters under there.
And why do people pay $60 a year to join Geeks on Tour?
Because they like us.
I guess.
But there are benefits. You get to ask us any question in our Q&A forum. You get the Backstage Pass. Members join together in Zoom meetings, access to hundreds of Show Me videos, and the written notes of these shows.
Oh,
And some people do it, just to say thank you for all that we do for free.
and we appreciate you. All right, become a member. Backstage Pass. That's it for us. I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we are Geeks on Tour. And this was episode 230. What does this button do?